In this episode, we run into a giant rabbit on the trail, then follow not one but two ghost riders and get busted bathing in a city park by a grandmother. Coming up. Last time we were swallowed by sand in the middle of hell and camped in the Wasatch Mountains. The next morning we headed down the mountain and west into the Great Basin Desert. The day's goal was to make it across the desert without dying to camp at a casino on the Utah-Nevada border. I have camped in this area twice before, and it is always a pleasant time. The town of Ephraim is just below, a small farming community on the edge of the desert. Much warmer below, I typically like to camp at altitude for the moderate temperatures created by lapse rate, as I have talked about more than a few times before. After filling up our bikes and bodies with food and fuel, we headed off into the desert. You may look at these grassy green fields and question the desert aspect of this region, and I do believe the valley here does receive a bit more rain than average in the area, but the county of San Pete reports about 11 inches of rain every year, so bumping into semi-arid or a steppe climate, this region is known for grasses and small shrubs. Until you get up to elevation, trees are not really a thing around here. On the trail decided, they've had enough. A new series coming to NBC this month. Just thinking about Lee. He bugged out. Was it the trail or was it us? It was the heat.
One's underneath that.
Well, but the heat may have just been the final straw. They have just been, man, this may not be as fun as I thought it was going to be, hanging out with these two assholes. Oh, heat. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, heat. Oh, yeah. What do we have here? No cow. No trespass. I love riding ridges, and they seem to be so rare, I get really excited when I find them. Ridges typically allow you a much better view, sometimes 360 degrees, which might cause a good bit of distraction. At least it does me. This section was a bit tricky with unusually steep climbs and descents with slippery gravel and ruts, and a few cattle scattered throughout. Not a good spot. 85? Pull up next side of me and we'll chat about it for a minute. About the wonders. Signs and wonders. Tell me what you think about it.
So far?
So you're sure you're not okay? You sure you don't want to be back down in the desert?
Well, this is definitely the divergent of the two paths, so I am assuming this will stay a lot better than that plagiarist guy. Now, if you like going through the desert unnecessarily, that might be a better path. I'm not 100% sure.
So you think Kevin was a little bit chicken shit about going across this mountain pass? He just wanted to stick to the desert path, or what? What do you think?
No, I don't know what he was up to. I know what Sam was up to now. Try to stay up at elevation a little bit.
Maybe he just likes climbing and descending.
This hasn't been particularly difficult, but better mind your P's and Q's. It's a goat climb. Better have some traction,
Better have some good tires.
or don't be on worn out.
Yeah, I'm glad I got my tires replaced at Moab.
No
Well,
difficulty whatsoever.
I think we should just continue on
I think we should.
now that I get that buff shot. Start crawling around there. It tickles. I'm afraid they're gonna eat their way into my brain.
Some of these sections can be very deceptive, as you are riding fast, smooth gravel, and lots of little surprises mixed in along the way, as none of these roads appear to be very tricky. I have found over the years that deceptive roads are much more dangerous to me than really technical riding. I am always on my game when I know I have to be paying more attention. It's the little twists and ruts that I miss when I'm looking at all the trailside wonders that always seem to put me on the ground or in the ditch.
Lots of runs are everywhere. You can't escape them. You just gotta pick one. Gotta pick one and stay in it. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. So many runs, so many decisions, so little time.
And that's also the same reason why I rarely record any of my endos. My near-death experiences always get a click of the record button, while the blissful zen-filled moments are typically only captured by my eyeballs. Let's talk a moment about navigation, as I tend to make light of the skills possessed by the navigators on the screen. I think many people are unfamiliar with the navigation process using tracks. Many assume, like I once did, that tracks are just like routes. You plug the address into Google Maps and you get turn-by-turn direction, or routes. Easy.
In a half a mile, turn right onto dirt road, next to the old oak stump.
Looks like we're going straight. Maybe we do get to go up the hill.
In 1,000 feet, turn left at Uncle Billy's tractor.
You really must pay attention when there are any intersecting roads, dirt, pavement, goat trails. They all might be turns that if you miss, you must backtrack. It does become embarrassing when you cannot easily get back on track, like this case here.
I see it now. Oh, this is a good one too. Very predictable.
The other issue that became really apparent was heat. This is desert, and temps were averaging around 100 plus degrees. You felt okay as long as you were moving and getting airflow through your gear. The air is dry out here, so evaporative cooling works really well, unlike more humid regions. When you are running low on fluid, sweating does not work well either, and sometimes you just need a break. A lot of this stuff is mental. Breaks are almost always good if you can find shade and a way to cool off. Finding sprinklers are essential in the desert, and I highly recommend them.
So, see where that dumpster is right over there?
Yeah.
Just straight across, like past that pavilion, all the way over down the road.
Okay, dumpster, yeah.
That's a water fountain right there.
Okay. That's good, man. It's good they give away water.
And then there's pavilion and a shady spot to sit over there.
We went swimming in the sprinklers.
See, Casey, you should have been over here to play with him.
That's what I said. I think we missed the time. We should have been in there.
Yeah, he's always telling me there ain't nobody to play with.
Oh man, we missed it.
It feels good to us.
I bet. It's hot.
Cool
Where
you
you
off real
headed?
quick.
Oregon.
Yeah,
It's hot.
that's what we're saying. I said, if we get
Delta.
if we get the Delta, I know where some sprinklers are. We'll cool off.
Y'all
Good
have
to be
a
here.
wonderful day.
You too, buddy. Drive safe.
These are not even the sprinklers I was thinking about.
Don't care.
Filled with fluids and temporarily cooled off, we mounted back up and headed for the Nevada border. Little did we know the worst of the effects of heat were yet to come. Despite the heat, I was really enjoying these long stretches of Desert Valley. I did get a bit concerned when I started seeing things that were not there. Mirages, I'm okay with those, but objects, animals, and vehicles that were not there, this became a concern, and it became time for another shady break and cooling water.
I don't know. I pushed out. I don't feel good. I'm hallucinating. I don't even think I'm
You saw a rabbit this big, didn't you?
a rabbit this morning. And two people on motorcycles about 2 miles ahead of us that disappeared into the desert.
Told you, Ghost Riders, man. Escort.
What I did manage to cool off a little bit over here. There is shade right behind that little sign right there, and I got my ass in it. My boots weren't in the shade, but I don't care about my feet. It's my head. It's swelling up. My head's swollen to twice the size, and that's really big. It's usually watermelon size. Now it's 2x watermelon.
Where's them sprinklers at?
The sprinklers in Delta helped, but all that water is gone. Nothing but death out here. Nothing but death awaits us, so we shall.
Before you attempt to cross a desert, it's really good to know the signs and symptoms of heat distress and heat stroke. And since I don't get headaches very often, this became a big concern. The hallucinations could be a result of those delicious mushrooms I found growing on top of the cow patties a few miles back, or more than likely the boiling red radiator fluid coursing through the arteries in my tiny brain. I decided not to find out and turned up the pace a bit and make a mad dash to the Border Inn and Casino. Cold AC and cold beer awaited just across the border in Nevada. The scenery is quite spectacular on this section of the loneliest highway, but you really have no idea of the scale and the vastness of distance between these mountains. It really is impressive, and I highly encourage everyone to visit Highway 50, regardless of the vehicle you are in. We made it to Nevada, and the first thing I did was get beer, then a shower, and we enjoyed the sun setting over the mountains with a cold beer in our hands. Whew.
Border in Nevada, Utah. Bye.
We thought we knew about the desert before we got here, right? You've been through this desert,
Yep.
right? I've been through the desert, but it's been busting ass down pavement, 75, 80, because the speed limit here is, what, 65? There's nothing here. You could see about 25 miles to the next mountain range. You could see the road, it goes straight. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the hallucinations, what do you call it? What's the thing when you...
Mirage?
Mirages. Yeah, there's lots of mirages. I thought I saw 2 motorcycles in front of me about 2 miles.
Ghost Riders.
Ghost Riders. I thought I was going to pass them. And I thought, okay, this is going to be cool. They're tat riders. There's no other reason for 2 guys to be on small bikes in the middle of the fucking desert unless they're riding the tat. And I'm going to pass them. And I got over the next ridge and poof, they were gone. So they were Ghost Riders. Is that what that is?
That's what they were. Showing us the way. Absolutely.
What's the way? What are we missing? What does everybody else need to know about the desert? It's really fucking hot. I mean, that goes, but it's more like an oven more than, I mean,
It's a convection oven.
more than anything I've ever experienced. Especially like Moab. The Moab area, it just burns your freaking legs because it's 105, 110, wherever the hell you are, and then you're getting all this heat off your engine and it's singeing the hairs off your legs. That's why I don't have any. I used to have hairy legs. Now they're just bare skin.
This was hotter to me than Moab, though. This road, 50's just hot. Every time I've ever come through
It's
here,
hot.
it's been about this time of year. It's hot.
Well, so we bypassed the section. What was it, 2 mountains back? I think we were supposed to go over a couple of small mountains. The thing I was terrified of was sand and just doing this all day and squirming back and forth and trying to struggle and having less than a gallon of water to get out of the desert. That was my concern. So, any comments there?
No, I think a lot of that pathway, the old Highway 6, so, but getting over to it, and then really, if you looked at the 2 paths, they went just like this and diverged right back. Roughly the same mileage. I think it would have taken us significant amount more time to go that way. And all along, we wanted to spend a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
This is where we're going to at least get some air conditioning. I got a shower for the first time since the Tat Shack. 2 showers,
Basically,
in fact.
Arkansas was our last real shower.
Right.
I bathed several times. But
Oh, yeah,
it's been Navy baths. You know, just splash, soap, rinse.
Been keeping the pits and all clean, but still felt good. I mean, to really take 2 back-to-back showers felt fantabulous.
Yeah, we both did the same thing. It was like you get the crust off, and then you got down and scrubbed the freaking skin. So it was like layers.
Yes.
It was kind of like deposition, and it was a geology experiment in the shower, wasn't it? I mean, I'm soaping myself up and going, I'm already starting to rinse, and there's brown stuff going down the drain. It's like, I thought I just bathed like 2 or 3 days ago. What does everybody need to know about the desert?
Plenty of water.
More than you think you will
More
need,
than you
because
think
you
you
will drink
need.
it all.
Because you could drink it all and then have an issue, and then you're going to be stuck without.
Yeah.
And that's not what you would. We had water. I still had probably 2.5 liters, but
I had maybe 3 liters, maybe close to 3 liters.
I don't think that was enough for either one of us to
Especially if we'd have gone through the sand route. I
get a
think
flat tire. Have to deal with that.
Good chance we might both have died trying to rescue each other out of whatever the hell. And my head was throbbing. I was hallucinating. I was falling asleep. I was really nodding. I was doing this, and there's absolutely no reason for me to be doing that other than maybe a change in my mental state, which is kind of scary. Oh, there's a hot little cutie.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you about the desert, but there's a lot to appreciate about the desert. I used to foo-foo it. I tell the story about raising Arizona all the time, where they're sitting and holding hands, watching the sun go down like we're doing now. I tell that story all the time, and how ridiculous I thought that was until I spent time in the desert. And now I'm like, it's not that ridiculous. It's beautiful. It's just not green and, lush and green like I've grown up with. Beautiful has always been lush green vegetation everywhere, lots of water, lots of waterfalls, and that's beauty. And I've always been anti-desert,
The heat.
Starkness, heat, all that stuff. It's like, how does anybody appreciate that? But until you've spent time in the desert, you will not appreciate it. So I would suggest that everybody that is scoffing and going, what's beautiful about the desert? You haven't spent enough time there. And if you do, you will probably change your mind like I have. So.
It was crushing today, but right now, it feels absolutely fantabulous.
And if you look, where do you think that is? 5-10 miles away, you can see snow on the tops of those peaks. Let's end this right there, shall we? Join us next time as we travel back into the desert of Utah and north to discover the ruins of an ancient alien launch pad, and finally up to an ancient inland sea known as Bonneville to do some camping out on the raceway of salt. Pretty epic stuff. You don't want to miss that.